Hey folks, Globku here. We're going to discuss a topic today that is a bit tough and it's complex, and I'm sure we're not going to hit all the topics that we want to hit on, and we don't necessarily have a solution, but we believe that video game reviews are outdated, and this is a bigger discussion than just the two of us. I have Fgeitas with me, obviously.
Hey, sup?
But hey, this is a conversation that we can all engage in, and hopefully this makes you think about the video game industry and how outdated video game reviews and video games media outlets are nowadays.
Yeah, how things change, right?
Video games became more download oriented. Instead of you buying a disc with a full game in it, the possibility for patches opened up, and now most games have like a day one patch.
Sure.
And the way media works is press outlets usually get the games a bit earlier, like a week before launch or something, and then a patch hits, and by that time you already have a video game review ready to run.
Exactly.
So what happens then? Do you go back and update your score? Let's pick up like a specific example. Most of the problems I had with Mass Effect Andromeda were fixed.
Yeah.
They were fixed with a patch that came out, what, 2 weeks after launch?
2 weeks after launch, exactly. You had those jiggly animations that happened on the middle of the game, and then suddenly the animations are corrected. And what happens to a review then?
Yeah, like the space bit, the fact that it had that slow animation going from planet to planet, and you can now skip that. Like, that animation was the reason why the whole space bit of that game was incredibly boring. It was just bad. And now it's fine if you can just skip that, right?
Sure.
Am I gonna go back to Mass Effect Andromeda and replay it and rescore it? Probably not. It's a story-driven game. I'm not going to enjoy it as much the second time around.
Exactly.
My experience was, well, that. It was not that great.
Your first time experience was deeply flawed. Majorly because of those problems with the game. And even that, like, the patches cannot correct the story, for sure.
Right.
And if the story is bad, you can't correct it.
Well, patches can add story sometimes, you know. There's definitely been that with Mass Effect's franchise.
Sure.
When does the public want to know if a game is good? When are they searching for a review?
Sure, of course. Majorly, it's when the game comes out.
Yeah,
right.
Around release, there's like a 2 to 3 day window where they're searching for reviews. They want to know if that game's good or not.
Exactly. So the problem here is, how do you convey, a review to talk about the game on that specific time, and at the same time accommodate the future patches that the game can be delivered to the game. Because
at what point is, like, we gave Mass Effect Andromeda a C.
Sure.
At what point is that fair to the game nowadays? I don't know. I haven't gone back and played it. Exactly. I certainly don't have an intention to go back and play it. There's other stuff coming out. That's a bad use of my time. At the same time, that's not fair to the game. There's another example that's been lingering on my mind, because I still get a lot of views on that review, and that's Oceanhorn. I did that review like 2 years ago. I have no idea how much the game has changed, but the game came out on PS4. It's been on a ton of bundles, so I still get people coming to that review.
Exactly.
And I have no idea if what I say in that review is still accurate, is still valuable. Am I gonna go back and play Oceanhorn? No, I didn't enjoy that game that much. Certainly not to warrant a second playthrough.
Your first impressions of the game were bad, so you don't want to go back to that game, for sure.
Well, I finished the game, It's not really a case of first impressions, it's just how the game was back when I played it.
Exactly. But we can talk about other games, like, No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is now a totally different game. When it launched, was that massive flop we saw.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
And had a day one patch like the day before release too.
And had a day one patch, which didn't fix much. Let's make sure.
I think it did. Like, prior to the patch, it was a much more barren game. I remember hearing stuff of that sort.
I don't recall. But then again, if you go back to No Man's Sky now, they have all those patches that added, new gameplay mechanics, new ways to, travel around the universe that it created.
Yeah.
And it's probably, I haven't got back to the game.
Right.
But it's, like you said, it's probably a much better game now than it was back when it launched.
Yeah. Is it worth for us to go back and rescore that stuff? Because I don't think the audience cares at this point.
No, so, the major of the audience, we have people that are still interested on the game, for sure.
Right. But those people don't need a review.
Those people don't need a review because they're gonna wait for that game to be good. They have faith that the developers are going to do something on
or they're
the game.
invested, they're enjoying it, and they're enjoying the patches, and you know those people don't need a review. And I think part of this problem is also like what the audience wants and when it wants it, and also like how many people are out there looking for reviews in this day and age. Because previously making video was hard. Making video was really hard. The internet, maybe before even the internet was out, like reviews would come out on magazines.
Yeah.
At that time, it was important to inform the customers of the quality of certain games.
Exactly.
Nowadays, if a game's out, someone's streaming it right now.
Yeah, you go on Twitch and for sure there's going to be someone, playing that game.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, they don't need a review. They just need to watch the game a little bit to understand, okay, this is my thing or this is not my thing. The audience has evolved. The audience has become more educated, and games have changed a lot as well. Like people who have played Uncharted, they know if they care about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy or not.
For sure.
Right? And the only thing that's going to prevent them from buying the next Uncharted game is video game reviews saying, oh, this isn't good. This is not what you were expecting. Which then brings us to another interesting point, which is video game publishers, why would they send us review copies if what most reviews do is just reduce sales in case a game's bad? Because they're doing all the marketing themselves now. They don't need us to tell our audience that this game's good, that they should buy it, because they have a much bigger audience now. They have their own YouTube channels. They have their own marketing strategies.
I think that problem is part of we want a real person to show the game how it is and have not much of a tainted opinion on that thing. But at the same time, that's really tough.
Yeah,
because it happens most of the time when new YouTubers or people that are starting to do this receive a game. They want that game to be good as well, and
they're excited because like, oh, this video game company gave me a game for free.
Exactly.
Like this is insane. I mean, that's a big part of what Bethesda did last October with saying we're only sending game copies to press outlets one day before the game comes out.
Yeah.
We value reviews and all that. No, you don't. Shut up. But they're sending game copies one day before the game releases on these press outlets. At the same time, they're not doing that with a lot of YouTubers because they're influencers. They're people that are hyped about Bethesda games and they know they're going to get good press out of it.
Yeah, because it's like you said, if someone tries to hype the game without having it, they're going to look at the good aspects of the game.
Yeah.
And sure, there are YouTubers that look at the bad aspects of some games, which happens a lot. And you have all those angry personality YouTubers that are built around being angry with games the industry.
And most of them are blacklisted at this point. They're not getting any copies from anyone because the publishers know they're bad press.
Sure, and but at the same time, you have all those types of people that try to hype the game without having played it, and that basically does the marketing for them.
Right.
When you have that kind of technology where you can update the game on a regular basis, how much weight does a review have when it comes out like today, and tomorrow the game is totally different?
Yeah, less and less, I would say. Because a patch comes out, someone's streaming the game, I'll check out these changes for myself. I don't need someone to tell me, oh, this is good, this is not. With some exceptions, very few exceptions, you do need like the person's input on how the game controls, because sometimes you can't tell from just watching a game.
For sure.
But most of the times you know what the game is.
Yeah, sure.
Like you just know,
we're generalizing here, of course.
This is Nier from Platinum Games. I know how Platinum Games feel. Right? Yeah. Am I interested in that kind of game in this sort of setting? People know the answer to that.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have a solution for that.
No, and there's no solution right now.
And I think still there are less people that think reviews should be objective, because that's not a thing. That doesn't exist.
That's really impossible.
But I also don't think Metacritic and people who score their reviews with numbers are helping dissuade that notion. Because if you give it a number is very concrete. That's why we changed our score to letters, because what's a B, what's an A, it's a bit more subjective.
Sure, but even then, even reviewing with letters, we have a scale.
Right. Yeah, you could convert those letters into numbers. We're not doing that.
Sure.
So if you want to go the extra mile and do that, that's your prerogative. We're not doing that because we believe reviews are subjective and always will be and always were.
YouTube is YouTube. I mean, the internet. You know, it's basically the most appealing thing to a young generation.
Yeah, and we're not kidding ourselves. We know our place in the video game reviews world, where everyone has an opinion, and people already know if a game's good or not by the time we review a game. Like we're not in the game of reviewing first. Our quick review show is more of a, people ask me all the time, what do I think about a game, and that's the space where I tell them.
That's basically what happens to me too.
Yeah, video game reviews are outdated, and there are a lot of problems with the way people are doing them today because of the way video games evolved, because of the way the audience evolved, and how easy video became to publish with YouTube mainly.
Sure.
So stuff needs to change. We don't necessarily have a solution for that. We just wanted to raise the problem and throw the conversation over to you guys. We'd love to discuss this further in a future video. So if you guys have any ideas on how to solve these problems, which it's not your responsibility, but you can.
Maybe you have the answer.
Yeah. But maybe you can help with the conversation. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new to the channel for more coverage of upcoming video games and meaningful discussions like these.
Ooh.
I think it's fun to ramble on about this industry.
It's fun.
You know?
It's fun.
And that's why we do it. Thanks for watching. Bye.